Hello everyone, welcome to a Dominion League match between Tracer and hakha3. This is in the A division. I'm hakha3 and I'll be commentating. If we take a look at the standings, we can see that this is Tracer's last match of the season, hoping to do well to avoid demotion. hakha3 has only played one match, so they are full of possibilities, their season. Alright, first game. I see Groom, but there isn't much to gain with it. I see Captain, but there isn't much to play with it. So we can trash with Mountain Shrine. We can give out some curses with Charlatan. We can draw with Scrying Pool. Village is in, which is not amazing, but and get +5 from pawn. So all the things are here, it's just nothing is really all that strong, I'd say. This is one of the cases where if Mountain Shrine instead costs 4 coins instead of like 5 debt, you would love to open Captain with credit, I think. But not an option. Bargain versus credit is kind of funny. So Tracer opens Potion. That's a little bit risky. I mean, I assume it's going to be Mountain Shrine. Looks like Hakha is probably going to open double Mountain Shrine. Unless they do a credit thing. Like credit Charlatan. So Tracer, yeah, this is the bad draw for Tracer. Where you can't afford Scrying Pool or anything that you want because you have to pay off debt. Hakha given this a long think. They end up getting Pawn, which is not on my radar. I think I want to play with 2 Mountain Shrines. Tracer agrees. Ooh, Hakka's Mountain Shrine misses the shuffle. So, kind of bad luck for both players. I would get a Mountain Shrine if I were Hakha. What does Good Harvest do? Is that the... Oh, okay, it's just treasures are worth a little more. Okay. Unique treasures. So, yeah, they're both after Scrying Pool. Tracer goes ahead and gets the in now. Hakha mirrors, so they're pretty in a pretty similar position, except Hakha has a pawn, and Tracer, I think, is trashed one more card. Yep, pawn for Tracer. All makes sense. Discards a Mountain Shrine with Scrying Pool. Oh, of Tracers, right. I would like to play with a Charlatan, I think. But, I mean, both players do have 2 Mountain Shrines, so it'll only slow down the opponent a little bit, but 3 coins from Charlatan, that, you know, which is a card you can draw with Scrying Pool. That's pretty good in its own right. But do you want to add a third a third terminal action before you add a second in? That's a question the players will have to grapple with. Bargain. Okay, bargain in. Because, yeah, you don't want to go into debt. So Hakha wants the extra in. Was that pawn worth it, though, right? They gave their opponent a horse for it. Yeah, probably worth. Six coins for Tracer, gets a gold. I do not like that. Why would we want gold instead of Charlatan? Like, yeah, you're going to have to add another in to support that Charlatan, but your scrying pool can draw Charlatans, and the junking is like, it does something. All right. Should be action by pawn, I would think. Did we want that? What? Don't we want plus buy? Oh, we have plus buy from what? We have plus buy from good harvest. Okay. I missed that. Okay, so the gold is more valuable because of good harvest. It makes sense now. The gold is 4 coins and a buy. We'll see if any players... I mean, platinum is good payload here. You definitely want 1 platinum. That's 6 coins and a buy. Thanks to good harvest. And you don't really need too many pawns for plus buy. Yeah, I think the time for Charlatan is drawn to a close, perhaps. I mean, this first pawn has to be card action. I don't see... No, it goes for card coin. That seems really unlikely that the coin would pay off, but... Now you wish... Oh, wow. That was lucky. I'm not sure if you want to play that scrying pool. Wait, what? That was greedy. It worked out, but that was very greedy, wasn't it? I think there were some bad draws you could get. Is a action card ever going to go in the trash this game? I think it's... I mean, it's very likely with Gladiator, but nobody's playing with Gladiator, so... Guess... probably not. So Hakka's got a platinum, but Tracer has both silver and gold, which is more payload in general. Okay, that pawn gets trashed. Maybe Tracer hoping to save their turn. Maybe they just, that's like a long-term goal. Who knows? I expect the players will want to keep 1 copper around because with good harvest, that's, non-terminal plus 2 coins plus 1 buy. Pretty good. Another in for Tracer. Oh no, it's just second in. Okay. Tracer couldn't think of like action cards that they wanted to add there, or excuse me, payload cards they wanted to add there for 5. Bit of a dud from Hakha, but a partial dud. Hakha still has 4 copper left in deck. Those are some bad scrying pools so far. Tracer's done it. They've collected 1 of each. Oh, that's interesting. Charlatan would have handed out a curse, which is a treasure, which would have been powered up by Good Harvest, right? So that is another reason to have skipped Charlatan here. Coven is going to give some minus VP. Okay. Tracer's done building payload for the most part. In terms of piles, scrying pool empties. Pawn can empty very easily. But there's no obvious third pile. It looks like Inn and Mountain Shrine are the 2 that are getting kind of close to keep an eye on. Especially because Mountain Shrine is just like a good card to add to your deck if you have extra terminal space. +2 coins, +2 cards, and it can be drawn up by what do you call it? By scrying pool. So once scrying pools are gone, do you trash the potion? It's worth 1 coin and 1 buy. Not great, but not terrible. What are we doing here? Why are we playing the Mountain Shrine? Oh, they're trying to decide whether or not they trash a copper. I mean, I would just trash a copper. But Hakka's thinking about it. I don't know what's down there. Is it just a pawn? Doing all their counting, thinking about their buys. All of that. We've been talking about the strength of various Rising Sun cards on the Discord recently. Cards and events. Credit, I just don't see it get bought very often. It's a little bit surprising because It's similar to Overlord, and I think Overlord is quite good. But I guess the flexibility of Overlord makes it a lot stronger than Credit in the opening. I mean, this is a bad kingdom to open with Credit, but nobody bought it the whole time. One bargain was purchased. Alright. Hakha's got a plan. We're going to find out what it is. Whoa! That province is very surprising. That's a very good scrying pool. That's a very good scrying pool. So, Tracer has more inns. Interesting. So Tracer does trash the potion. This is going to be double colony. Yep. Interesting to play the pawn as a cantrip there. Uh-huh. That was well done. And realized that they had an action card left in their deck so that they can full draw if they discarded 2 actions. Well played. There's a lot of pawns that need to be played non-terminally. You can just do it now. Action coin, action coin, action coin, coin buy. I don't think Tracer's really able to threaten a pile out. Because it cost 27. And Tracer had like 23. So it's all about that colony pile. Hakha, of course, can get 1 colony safely. So are they going to just like keep getting colony province? It's a little odd that they just like trashed their potion without a thought. But not the copper. Maybe it's just what was in hand. Because the first potion is more valuable than the second copper in this kingdom. You get an extra buy from it. Long contemplation. Long think. Okay. Hakha lowers pawn. Again, that is safe. So Hakha leads by 1 point. Tracer might be able to just take 2 colonies safely, though. Hakha didn't really add much in the way of payload. They don't really... Like, they can get colony province, but they can't get colony 2 province. They can't even get colony province duchy, maybe. Maybe with great draws they can get colony province duchy, but that's not even enough. So I think as Tracer, you can just take 2 colonies safely. That's what I think. Good draws, as per usual. What are we waiting for? Double colony. Is safe. Mm-hmm. That's a good starting hand for Tracer. Should work. Keeping this extra copper around. Has a few pawns. Just a few. Ooh, they do have enough for Colony Province Duchy. I think. No. They were short 1 coin, but very close. That's not enough to win, but, very close. Yep, Coven. Makes sense. That should be a win. Alright, first game goes to Tracer. Game 2. Well, we have Horn of Plenty, but I don't think we have enough draw. For a Horn of Plenty Megaturn, except through Madman, which is awkward. However, you can keep Madmans around and use them as Way of the Ox, potentially. So maybe it's worth it. Whoa! What's going on with this Beggar? Oh, Beggar Guildhall. Huh. Alright, so both players are going like real fast here. They seem to believe that a Hermit Open is correct for Beggar Guildhall. I guess I'm not as certain of that. Um, it does not work for Hakha. Because Hakha, did Hakha open? Hakha opened double Hermit. All right, so all right, what happened here? Tracer opened double Beggar, and Hakha opened double Hermit. Okay, I thought they each opened one of each. All right, so Tracer's just going straight Beggar Guildhall. This is a combo where you play your Beggar, you get 3 coffers, and you buy a province. And you just keep doing that. When you don't hit province, you buy another Beggar, usually. Although in this kingdom, you might buy a dungeon at some point. To help you find your existing beggars. What did Tracer buy? Tracer bought the farm. Now that's interesting. I mean, it gives you a coffer when you gain it, which is pretty nice. Tracer didn't have to spend any coffers to do it. Is that better than buying another beggar? Maybe. I assume Tracer will start provincing now, though I'm not sure of it. And now I'm curious what Hakha will do. Okay, going for a Horn of Plenty thing. So does Tracer buy province here? That I'm not sure of. I think it's likely. Hakka's trying to like build a deck and stuff. I think it'll be too slow, but I am curious. They don't have any madmen. If they want this Horn of Plenty thing to ever work, they do need to get some more madmen. They only have the one Hermit. I just think it's. I just don't think it's gonna work. Okay, looking good for Tracer. They'll go down to 1 coffer after this turn, though. But it's okay. You buy a farm if you miss and have 6 copper. Like, maybe that should have been a farm there for Tracer. Another farm. It's hard to say. Oh, no, they have 4 coffer. Oh, wow. I forget how good Beggar Guildhall is. Yeah, they're just going to increase their coffers this turn by 1, I think. Very strong. The markets and first mates. That's seems like what you probably want to do. Maybe you get a madman. When do you get a madman? That's the question. Now, new Hermit says if you didn't gain any cards, okay, so you can't like gain cards with Horn of Plenty and get a madman. You used to be able to. Hermit used to say if you didn't buy any cards this turn, exchange it, or not exchange, but get a madman. Now it's if you didn't gain any cards in your buy phase. The distinction being Horn of Plenty lets you gain cards in your buy phase without buying them. Farm is an interesting wrinkle in Beggar Guildhall. I think it helps it just because if you miss province, you can buy a farm and you get a coffer for it, and that just helps you hit province in the future. But in this case, Tracer found all their beggars at the top of the shuffle. So they've got 6 provinces kind of locked in here, which is usually enough. Usually, but not always. Well, I did not expect to see those province gains. I mean, Tracer can buy 2 provinces in 2 turns, so he's definitely got the win. There may be some worlds where Hakha has a chance if he like plays it slow, but because I'm pretty sure Tracer doesn't have any beggars in those bottom 5 cards, and then they might not see a beggar in their next shuffle for a long time. So it will take a while for Tracer to get the 7th province, I think. 7th province seals the deal. But now they don't even have to. They just get 4 provinces and win. Excuse me, 6 provinces and win. Yeah, Tracer just barely has enough to close out in these provinces, which means that they couldn't have gotten a 7th province on their next turn. And I guess Hakha has to know that they're kind of out of options. Oh, Treasure can regain Horn of Plenty. Oh, that's cool. Hakka's playing this quite well. Got close. Got very, very close. Impressive. I do wonder if they had taken one fewer province if they would have won. Because Tracer, yeah, Tracer here with 5 copper and 1 coffer. Yeah. Anyways, well, Tracer found the combo. Believed in it. Hakha played a good engine, but not good enough. I think with some better luck, or some worse luck on Tracer's part, that engine would have won. That was stronger than I expected. It didn't even need a madman. Game 3. Well, the problem with this is that we're missing plus actions. So we have this terminal draw, but we can't really engage with it. We have toil, but yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what the players will do here. I don't think it's very good. Like, I think you can play with one terminal draw card and then maybe toil like a Sacred Grove or something. It's pretty weird. Trashing is worthwhile. So our opponents open Cage Crucible. Well, at least Tracer does. So Hakha goes with Crucible, Secluded Shrine. I don't love Cage here, but I don't like Secluded Shrine much either. If I were going to open Secluded Shrine, maybe I would have preferred to open Cage and then, like, buy Crucible. I don't know. Unclear. Alright, so I'm curious to see what Hakka's first 5 will be. There's an argument for Sacred Grove. There's an argument for Rabble. I really don't love Crew here, because you'd have to play like a warehouse to draw it. Good Secluded Shrine from Hakha. Flagship from Tracer. I wonder what that's going to play. You can, like, toil a flagship, which is pretty cool. I think. Okay, so Tracer hasn't gotten any terminal draw yet. Well, they have Faithful Hound, but none of the 5-cost ones. So they go with Sacred Grove as their first 5. See, Tracer's Cage set aside 4 copper, which is about the best outcome you could expect. Tracer is very thin, although some of those cards will come back when they green. Warehouse. What? Okay, Warehouse Faithful Hounds. Interesting. Tracer might be planning a really big toil kind of thing. I don't know. It's kind of confusing to me. Oh wait, maybe they just Warehouse, discard 3 Faithful Hounds. They're hoping to do that each turn. What is that in terms of hand size increase? If you do all that each turn, then you just increased your hand size by 2, I guess. So Hakka's doing a more money-ish thing. I'm a little surprised no Sacred Grove, though. This is a very simple kingdom, but both like the players are doing different things, which I appreciate. Hakka, no Sacred Grove. Interesting. I don't I don't like that. I feel like you want to be able to threaten, like you just want two buys. Maybe you need to duchy dance, right? And being able to get double duchy. Maybe you want to be able to build up to province duchy if you have a good turn. Like, I think there are a lot of good reasons to play with Sacred Grove. No, I don't know if Tracer's play here is like worth it. Like all these faithful hounds and warehouses and flagships and all this nonsense. But I do like a Sacred Grove and at least some flagships. So I think Tracer's going in a interesting direction. Gets a gold there for Hakka. Man, you gotta get a Sacred Grove. Womp womp. So Tracer's not like trashing these remaining coppers, which seems a little dubious. Well, that's amusing. What's the game plan, Tracer? You've achieved all your dreams. What, are you gonna province cage every turn? That's weird. Alright, do you crucible trash this cop? Nope. Okay, Swamp's Gift, interesting. So what now? I guess you can get another Faithful Hound, right? Province Cage, Faithful Hound. This is weird. Uh-oh. Tracer doesn't have a warehouse in the top card. Oh, they're screwed. Oh boy. Yeah, Tracer's deck just fell apart. They didn't see a warehouse. I thought they had two warehouses. Did they draw both? I'm confused why they don't have a warehouse in hand. Oh, Rabble. Rabble, right. Alright, well, Hakka's simpler thing worked. I would have liked a Sacred Grove for Hakka. Alright, the score is currently Tracer 2, Hakha 1. Hakha start on game 4. So we have Torturer here, and we don't have... Well, the only way to trash... Oh, we have Asceticism. Alright, we're good. The Kingdom cards don't trash, but the landscapes do. So what card is Pious? Harbinger? That's not great. I don't see a whole lot. Ooh, a Lurker from Hakha. I wonder what that's gonna do. So Tracer has a 2-coin hand next turn. So they go with the Torture, and then they'll get a Grotto, presumably. The Lurker's weird. Very weird. Yeah, the Torture attack hurts quite a lot. If you're playing against Grotto, right, like discarding anything is pretty harsh. So you have plus buy from the pouch, but there's no other plus buy in the kingdom. So that's something to keep in mind in terms of how big you want to build. Gets a Harbinger. Grotto, yep, okay. Wonder how many cards Tracer sets aside. I usually like setting aside 2 here, but I'm not sure. This might be a case where you set aside 4. Lurker is wild. I guess you figure if my opponent contests with Lurker, then I can just Grotto the Lurker. A little bit weird, but... So Tracer sets aside 2 cards. Wait, all the cards. Hostelry. Okay. I mean, Lurker gaining Hostelry can get you a lot of horses. Potentially. It anti-synergizes with Grotto a little bit. What do you do? Yeah, you have to gain the curse. What? Okay, the state's trashed. So Tracer gets a Lurker, hoping that maybe they can snipe that hostelry, I guess, or just, you know, put the fear into the opponent. But Tracer's playing with a single Grotto, which is interesting. I'm thinking this turn Tracer probably sets aside 2 cards and gets a Grotto. But it's not a guarantee. Well, now they can set aside 3 and buy a Grotto. Another Lurker. I don't know if Tracer has much experience with this kind of single Grotto play. I certainly don't. So I don't really know how it's going to play out, what to expect. You're going to have very asymmetrical turns. But not like every other turn is going to be different, because you might not see your Grotto on the turn after your Grotto like gets a duration effect. It all depends on your shuffles at that point. Whereas with 2 Grottos, you're kind of setting yourself up so that you see all of your like good cards each turn. That's the hope with the double Grotto setup. When did Tracer get a hostelry? If they have one. They did not. Okay, Hakha has 2 hostelries. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Hakka's position looks pretty good. Now they have 2 lurkers of their own. Okay, and they have hostelry, torturer. Looking pretty good. I don't think you can play this lurker. Yeah, I didn't... Tracer's position seems weird to me. Okay. That's a good shuffle for Tracer. The Harbinger does nothing. Played a little bit too late. I mean, well, they didn't have a choice, right? Harbinger was bottom decked, so it did nothing. I'm not sure what the thinking is about. Surely you play a Harbinger here. If you draw Torture, it's great. If you don't, you play a horse. Now this is not as obvious. Oh wow, Tracer's just all about those curse gains. I guess this is going to be an Asceticism purchase for Tracer. If all goes well. This could be Asceticism for Hakha as well. I guess not. I think it really should have been. If you set aside 3 cards with Grotto, if Hakka set aside 3 cards with Grotto, they would have been able to trash 2 estates. Excuse me, an estate and 2 curses, which seems really good. Instead, they bought a 3rd lurker and a 3rd torturer. I don't know about that. Okay, this is a good turn for Tracer. Womp womp. Looks like you should have. You should have trashed some cards, Hakka. I don't know about these lurkers. Alright, Hakka gets a reprieve. No torture attack this turn. So Tracer has 4 lurkers. Oh, interesting. Oh, Tracer finally gets a 2nd grotto. If Hakka finds a torturer, their turn will be very good. But if they don't, it's looking pretty bad. Because 3rd lurker was pretty bad. I would have preferred a Slay over a 3rd lurker, I think. Just don't have the deck control, you know? Okay, and then here you can potentially lurk something and then harbinger it. So that's cool. You could do it with Torturer. I think 4 Torturers might be too many. You could also do it with Bazaar. That goes for Torture. Okay. It all worked out. I mean, relatively speaking. But I don't think they have a village down there, so they really need that. Please trash some cards. Set aside, yep. Yep. I would discard Torture Lurker here, I think. Wait. Oh, there's no curses left. Never mind. All the curses are gone. How many are in the trash? 6 out of 10. So Tracer has at least 2 of those curses. Hakha, I think, has at most 1. Yeah, I think I'd only set aside 2 cards with this grotto. Just trash those curses. That is not Tracer's play. Weird. Okay, I guess they feel like they really need another village. Hakka's got plenty of torturers. Unfortunately, they have just 1 torture left in those 13 cards, so they might not pair it with their villages now. But they do have a Harbinger that can set up their torturer draw. That's a pretty good Harbinger. Wait, didn't they have 2? No, they drew 2 lurkers. Okay. Alright, this Harbinger can top deck a torturer, and then they should have a good turn. Speaking of good turns, this sure looks good. Alright, what does Tracer gain? We gotta watch the 3-pile threat, because lurkers are low, and lurkers can gain lots of cards. Tracer's reeled down in VP, so they probably need to do a big Asceticism, Trash Curse kind of turn here. It's a little bit unlucky. That's actually pretty reasonable. What? Wouldn't it be better to trash some curses? I guess we'll see. Maybe Tracer thought they needed this VP to be safe. Okay, what's the play here? I'm honestly not sure. I thought that turn would be better for Hakha. Maybe Slay? Tracker's not even too bad either. Hakha is over terminal though. Now Tracer has 4 lurkers. At least. Maybe 5? They're trying to be able to threaten a 3 pile, I think. Oh, that really saved the turn. Okay. That was a very good turn. Probably get another Bazaar. Okay. That was smart. Oh, they could have done something a little different, maybe. Maybe they would have ran out of actions. Yeah, never mind. Okay. Hakha can buy a province now. They probably should. Seems important. Question is, do you set aside this torturer? I think you do. Or you set aside a horse. Okay. What? Okay. It all works out. So can Tracer win this turn? They have... It looks like they can. Sure does. Wow. And they held on to those curses. Very interesting. I would have wanted to trash the curses, but I think what Tracer did was the winning play. Just get those provinces and then be able to empty on piles. So well done by Tracer. On to game 5. We've got Frigate. Yeah, that looks annoying. Not much to be said. Village Green is a pretty good response to it. So we've got Change March. That is not available for Hakha because I had the 3/4. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think Change could have cost 3. I don't think it's really strong enough to demand costing 4, but it's pretty niche situation where we're in here with March, where that price point difference matters. And you could argue that change costing 4 is a little bit better if you get 2 changes, and then you can change, a 4 into a 5 and only take 1 dead, that kind of thing. Interesting. So Tracer gets a Spices. The coffers almost balance out the dead, but not quite. They just pay off debt there. I assume we're going to get a Frigate at some point. Maybe here. Hakha has 5. Are we going to see Spices? Are we going to see Frigate? Are we going to see Stampede? And what's behind door 4? It's a crew. Why are we getting crew? What am I missing? When did that Hakha get Village Green? Oh, turn 4. I'm so confused. Why crew? Tracer has a few coffers in stock, just a few. How do they get so many coffers? Merchant Guild. Ah, okay, Merchant Guild into Stampede. That's cool. Haven't seen that before. Tracer seems way ahead here, but it's not like I know what the end game looks like. I assumed frigates would be gained. So far, they have not. Spices has been gained. Crew has been gained. Merchant Guild has been gained. Stampede has been purchased. If we see a kiln bot before frigate, I will be maximally confused. We change... No, we don't change the horse. Change on spices. I was going to say can be good, but it's just gold or province here, which is not very exciting. All right, what's the game plan? So is that Merchant Guild bottom decked? I assume Tracer wants, yes, a village. That is my assumption. Don't they need another village if they're doing this? I don't know. Both players seem to be not getting frigate and not worrying about the opponent playing frigate, which has me confused. Both players also have retained the favor for desert guides, right? Or no. They're playing with underlings. At least Hakha is playing with underling. I don't think Tracer is. Uh-huh. You can march a village green and play it as a duration. That's pretty cool. No, it just buys another village green. That seems wrong, considering your starting hand, but I guess you can just pitch it with desert guides. Tracer with the Merchant Guild Stampede play again. Changes are really awkward in the mid game. Hey, a frigate was purchased. And played. Oh, into the Stampede. Ooh, that's nasty. Does he do a next turn play, Tracer? Looks like it. Well, the fun should be over now. But maybe it's still worth it to buy Stampede here for Tracer. It kind of forces Hakha to get another frigate and play again. Yeah, I kind of like it. And that's a double Stampede. Wow. That's a really cool synergy that Tracer found. I did not see that. Merchant Guild Stampede. Very cool. Okay. Hakha can do it again. Get a frigate in play. That's huge. Being able to see their change. That was not guaranteed. They like had perfect money to do it again. This is rough. They're holding on to those horses by using a desert guides kind of thing. I mean, they can buy two Stampedes again if they want, but that doesn't really net them much, right? Okay, that makes sense. They have a few horses, Tracer that is, and a few coffers. And the thing is, the horses return to the pile, so they don't interfere with Stampede. This is a really cool synergy. I've never seen it before. Even against Frigate. Like, imagine if Frigate wasn't in the kingdom. It'd be so good, this synergy. But even with Frigate, I guess it's not a big deal because you only want to put 5 cards into play anyway. So if you're Tracer and you get like 30 coffers, then it's like, okay, I'll just buy provinces now. I assume that's the play. Like one more turn of building up coffers with Stampede, and then you start buying provinces. That'd be my guess. Now Tracer could be attacking. Like Frigate would definitely hurt Hakha because Hakha has this crew for some reason. Here we get to the point of the game where change is not very good. Hakha wondering whether or not to trigger the shuffle. They could stop right here. The downside of that is they wouldn't have favors. Oh yeah, they didn't have bad cards in there anyway. Copper into barge. Duration barge. Geez, the frigate attack would be really good against Hakha now. Let's see if Tracer can set that up. They do have a change. So many horses going back to the pile for no benefit. Very little benefit. Oh my gosh. Where is the freaking village green? That's what Tracer's trying to figure out. There's a change. Tracer's not holding on to the change. Okay. Placed 2 merchant guilds, presumably. That can be for next turn. I mean, Tracer still could buy Frigate and march it. It is still possible. Right? They could buy Stampede, and then they could buy Frigate and march it. They are not doing that. Wacky. Wacky. I guess, I mean, Tracer wins this without Frigate against Frigate. That lowers my opinion about how strong Frigate is. Or, like, essential that Frigate is. All right, so Hakha is getting in on the Merchant Guild game. Maybe too slow? I'm not sure. Jeez. So many horses put out to pasture. Finally. Change spices into province. Mm-hmm. Now that does like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, another province. Okay. Okay. And the coffers are still high. Yes, a tracer can buy like 3 provinces whenever they want. Potentially, they can even threaten 4 provinces here if they find their change. So, it's so crazy to me. This deck tracer has it's like nothing I've ever seen. It's very very cool. Changing copper is like really bad. Like, is that better than nothing? I don't think it is. You're losing so much money when you change a copper. That's a cool frigate icon. It's a little bit washed out, I guess, the art, right? The frigate itself isn't very um what's going on in the foreground? They seem to be happy to see this frigate. I wonder why. This guy's waving. The guy on the right is like holding up his fist in solidarity or something. What's up with that? What's the story into this frigate art? Who cheers to see frigate? Maybe the people in the foreground are like a merchant ship, and the frigate is on their side, and they're about to ward off some pirates or something like that. That's my best guess. All right, Tracer goes up 4-1. Strong performance so far. On to game 6. Well, we do not have. Okay, we have what we need. We have what we need, but it's a little awkward because we got an inventor mega turn potential. We have draw with wharf. However, the only plus actions is specialist and prince. And specialist is awkward because there aren't a lot of non-terminals to use it on. You can use it on Conspirator. And you can always play something as Way of the Mule, right? So you could like Specialist a Wharf, draw cards, and then play it as like Way of the Mule or something. It's not optimal. There's also Summon, we should keep in mind, but nothing great to summon, probably. Well, Sheepdogs are being gained, which is a surprise to me. Oh, but you can Sheepdog as Way of the Mule. Oh no, that's interesting. I hadn't considered that. So you can react with Sheepdog and play as Way of the Mule, and that way you can get an extra action from your inventor. So who opened with Sheepdog? Nobody. Tracer opened with Courtyard Summon Inventor. Hakha opened with Silver Inventor. Presumably trying to get, well, presumably trying to get Wharf, but then again, we see that Tracer got Storyteller at their first or second 5 opportunity. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Hakha still hasn't hit 5, to my knowledge. What do you do as Hakha? I think I'd consider buying Conspirator. How did they get that Wharf? I'm confused. Ah, everything costs 1 less. There we go. They hit 5. It just was 4 that they hit. Sheepdogs are going fast. Whoa, Hakha buys another inventor. What? Why would you get another inventor instead of like a specialist there or a storyteller? I'm quite confused. Because you can always invent an inventor. Why not get a specialist? Now that's cool. You can then, within the inventor cost reduction, you can summon a 5 cost. Well, what was once a 5 cost. So Tracer does that to summon a Wharf. Very cool. Wait. Okay. I'm not sure why that sheepdog got played, but. Huh? So then this sheepdog can be played as a mule. And this inventor can be played. Then we can summon something else. Maybe another Wharf, even. Yep. Okay. I like Tracer's position. No trashing, but we've got Wharf, so we can make it work. Hakha, meanwhile, not loving that position. Hakha can buy a free courtyard if they want. They do not want. Okay. Big draw. Uh-huh. Get some plus actions from these sheepdogs. Oh, that's clever. Okay, I think I'd be gaining a lot of specialists at this point, yeah. 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 I really like Tracer's position. Summon Wharf seems really good. You should do it, Hakha. You need specialists, that's true. Hmm. How did they gain another specialist there? Oh, I see. Okay. They used the second specialist play. What was that all about? Oh, they're just done, huh? Was that correct? Oh, they're not done. Oh, because they gained a card from specialist. I see. But they're done with drawing at the moment. I forget the new, like, throne duration rules and whether or not they matter in this game. Defensive province from Hakha. Tracer can potentially win here if they have a good enough turn. That was maybe not as much draw as Tracer would have liked. Oh, right, Inventor's also low, so that pile gets emptied. Easy enough. Any future inventors can gain province, but they don't even need to. Tracer can just end their turn right here and buy double province. Or, or that many provinces. 7. Well played by Tracer, and that should be enough to stave off demotion, I would think. A very impressive 5-1 victory for Tracer. Well, there will still be more action in the A division. In fact, J-Nails and Yuri Kamome are playing simultaneously. So stay tuned. Well, don't stay tuned, but keep your eye out for future A-League matches. Till the next one.